everybody, and welcome back to the This Might Mean Something podcast. I'm Kysa. Mike's sitting over there somewhere. Mike, say hi.
Hola.
There
Hi.
he is. And we have a fun subject today. We quit our jobs. we quit. Yep, finally.
We're done.
We had a very comfortable 9-to-5 job. And this last week, we decided to throw caution to the wind, and we wanted to work for ourselves. Like, that was the biggest thing.
That's a great way to put it. Throwing caution to the wind, saying, screw it, do it.
Yeah. So. It was calculated caution to the wind, but it's still caution to the wind.
It's a calculated risk.
Yes. And today we want to talk a little bit about why we did it, what our plans are for, the next unforeseeable future. And we also want to go back in time a little bit and talk a little bit about what we've done during we'll call it our corporate era.
Corporate era. I didn't work all corporate jobs, but I did.
Nor did I, technically. Yeah, our hourly era.
Yeah.
Our comfortable, you will get a paycheck every 2 weeks era. That was a safe era, and apparently we don't like safety. So,
nope. I never have. I mean, I'm a thrill seeker.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm a weird mix of I want to throw caution to the wind and take the risks, but when it actually comes to diving off the board, I'm like, risky.
Ew, that's risky.
Especially when it comes to money. Money is like one of those things that I don't screw around with.
Yeah.
And we have more on the line now than I personally ever have. Like, I've had my cats and myself on the line before. So I could have quit and just gone rogue any point I wanted to and only had like minimal damage. But now it's our partners at risk. If one of us doesn't hold up the end of the working deal, the other one has to either pick up the slack or we can have some issues. Yep. And we also have our 2 cats and a puppy. So we have a good bit at risk at this point, and a house and cars.
Yep. The puppy's the big one, though.
The puppy's the big one, yes, and the cats. The fur children are the big ones. Yep. So you're the one that really did the calculations as to. You're the one that pitched, hey, let's leave our job. And for retrospect, we worked the same job, different positions. So we were working at the same place during the same hours, getting about the same paycheck every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was the same paycheck, give or take a couple dollars.
Yeah, so you're the one that came to me and was like, hey, you want to leave? And yeah. I was like, yes. Yes, I do. So talk a little about that.
Yeah, so we worked, I'll call it a 9-to-5. We worked like 2 in the afternoon to 10 p.m., straight 8 hours, right?
Which works out to a 9-to-5 with lunch. So we just didn't get a lunch. A straight 8 means we got no lunch. Anyway.
We were making $20 to $21 an hour each.
Yeah.
And we were spending 50 hours of our week in order to work this job. We were spending 30 minutes per drive to work this job. So we didn't really enjoy the job. You know, I got into it because it was aviation and I'm a pilot. So I said, hey, great networking job. Let me go get a job here and work here while I'm in school and this, that, and the other.
And I will say I enjoyed my job. I enjoyed my job, but not enough to continue doing it for the rest of my life. I liked it to an extent.
I enjoyed doing the job itself. I do not enjoy doing it with that company, doing it with all those people necessarily.
I'll even go so far to say the company was okay, but they went downhill and turned bad. The company was
Yeah.
great in the beginning when I first started with them. So I don't want to like we're not going to say the name of the company, but
Yeah.
we're going to just say it was an aviation company. And that's where we're going to end that at. And I enjoyed it, but it got sold several times during my time with it, and it got handed off to just money grabbers.
Yeah. So just over the years, the company just noticeably got worse.
Yeah.
And you know, some of the people that we worked with were not the greatest. And I had noticed, just between the two of us, a decline in morale,
Yeah.
mental health, the
Yeah.
whole shebang. I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be a good way to put it, I guess.
With high
Um,
turnover as well. There was a lot of turnover rates, which you can
yeah,
expect in these kind of jobs like aviation, like working in what's called a fixed base operation or an FBO, aka like a tiny airport, like a private jet airport. Those places are notorious for having high turnover because it is used by pilots and mechanics and people who are looking to get into the aviation industry. It's an open position. It's an opening position job that these people who want to get farther in the industry can get experience with planes. So there are a lot of high turnovers in all of these areas, and you can expect it, but it got worse, like bad.
yeah. So it, like you said, it is a really high turnover because it's used as a stepping stone. It's
Yeah.
used, like I was trying to use it, as a networking tool, and to be able to work around airplanes and learn about these airplanes, and that way you have some sort of experience and knowledge with a given aircraft before you go and fly it, or before you go and work on it, or you know, whatever. So
Yeah.
it was expected, and it always is expected, to be a high turnover. With us, first, Kaisa was not trying to get into aviation. She sort of
No.
got handed the job because her dad had worked for the company, which is
Yeah.
great. And she saw a position that was open and went for it. And then a few years down the line, I don't know if you wanted to go into it more, but a few years down the line, after she had left the company the first
Yeah.
time, pretty much got a call for another position that paid more, and got a job interview the same day. This, that, and the other happened, and she started working for more money, at least, than where she was at the time. So she
More
pretty much just
hours.
got the
Yeah.
job in order to get the hours and get the pay and do all that. But it still wasn't great. You know, it's entry level. We're just now making, you know, 20 some dollars an hour is what we were paid up till Sunday.
Well, I will say, um, just talking because I was the trainer at my position, and just talking to new hires, I was being paid about just under 21, and new hires were being paid 17, 18, $19. So, and I've been with the company for 9 years. So, I mean, a a $4 max increase from where people are getting started from these days after being with the company for 9 years. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know if that's expected or if that's like me being unreasonable, but that to me sounds a little not 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 good. I mean, it's
With
kind of
how their raise system works, where you only make about 50 cents a year, that sounds about right.
yeah, and I
But
mean that doesn't even equal
that's
out right, like
that's not a living wage
but that's
or
also
cost
with the
of
$1
living increase.
increase. That's also with the $1 increase of being a trainer. You have to remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it just, it was a lot of things. They haven't done
Yeah,
a market adjustment since we moved up to this space. So
true.
um down in when we lived in Florida, They did a few market adjustments just because so many people were leaving to work
Oh,
on
that
the
was so
airline
nice.
side doing the same thing because they paid so much more.
That was so nice. Like I started working at the company at 977, I believe it was, or 975, something like that. And then after my 90 days got bumped to like $11 and change.
Oh man,
So
I when
those
I got
market raises, man.
hired when I got hired at the first location, I came in with like two other guys or something like that.
Yeah.
I got hired with a bunch of people typically.
It was like a three
Um,
pack that came in at that time. And Mike was one of them.
that was that location. The first location I came in,
Oh.
and we were offered 11, 10
Mm-hmm.
or 11.
Now your position gets paid a little bit more than mine does. Not by much, but a little bit.
Little bit. But we were offered 10 or 11. I accepted 10 or 11. I don't remember the exact number.
Mm-hmm.
And we came in the first day, literally training. And they're like, by the way, we just did a market adjustment. You guys are now making 12 and some change or something like that. And I was
Oh,
like, oh, cool. Like day one, they did a
yeah.
market adjustment. So they just, before we even started, they bumped everyone up.
Yeah.
Um, And then shortly after I got to the second location where I met you, they did
Mm-hmm.
a market adjustment, and then they did another one near the end of the time too.
Yeah.
Um, Before we came up here. Since we've been up here, we've not had a market adjustment at all, which
No.
doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the company that now has our previous company is a money grab. Like they decided to expand and cut hours. Like they expanded however many locations they have, and then they cut everybody's hours and like down to part-time essentially. You didn't
Yeah.
lose your full-time benefits and all that stuff, but you were cut down to part-time. And there was we can go on for a while on why we left, honestly. There's a lot of reasons, some more personal than others. Like I wanted to work for myself. I want to know how much my work is worth and not be told what I'm worth per hour. Stuff like little things like that. And there's some bigger
And like
things like the money cut or the hour cut.
I needed an open
Flexible
schedule
schedule. Yeah.
in order to start doing what's called contract flying, contract piloting, and be
Right.
paid at least on a day rate for flying airplanes. And I needed an open schedule in order to work with that. And it wasn't fair to like my manager and my coworkers to be calling out because hey, I have a trip that's going to pay me more than there, or I'm not
Right.
saying that, but it's going to pay me more, or hey, I'm getting hours, it's more valuable to me.
Yeah.
um or just calling out. Like I literally showed up late a couple weeks ago because I took a trip that was supposed to get back by lunchtime. We work at 2 o'clock. I was taking a trip that was supposed to be back by like 12, maybe 1 o'clock at the latest.
Right.
And the passengers didn't even come back to the FBO until like 1:30, and it was a
Yeah.
45-minute flight.
Yeah. And
And I was
so
just
like
like, this is not great. And I'm having to, yeah, I work that afternoon. I'm having to text my boss and be like, hey, I'm going to be late. This is the situation. And just
that's
show
not
up
fair to
late,
them.
No, it's not.
Now,
So,
thankfully you landed on the same airfield you worked on, but
yeah.
even
Yeah.
so like the commute from plane to workplace was like 5 seconds, but
Yeah.
still like it's not fair to your coworkers and it's not fair to the company, and then you also get punished with a point for being, or a half point for being somewhat late. Like there's just all these factors that for you needed an open schedule in order to pursue these dreams of yours and be able to, you know, get value out of the money that you're making. Because like it's nice to make money, but if you can tack on hours on top of that, for you that means more value, and
Yeah.
it's only going to push you farther in your career. For me personally, I needed the flexible schedule for other things that I could continue to do around a 9 to 5, but it just was really limitation. Like it really came down to limitation of what I could be doing. Like
Right.
we had reasons for needing flexible schedules. I wanted to grow my businesses and my content creation. You wanted to have an open schedule to be flying and pursue your dreams. It just made sense to leave. And we're doing it in the weirdest way possible. It does not make sense to me, but it maths. Like the maths, but the math shouldn't math like at all.
The math is very mathy.
Yes, the
So,
maths in a mathematical formulation of weirdness.
it's crazy. And you
Like-
guys are going to think just the same.
And I'm going to let Mike explain this because, again, he's the one that did all the calculations. And I don't know how deep into I don't want to give like specifics just because personal life a little bit. But I want to give some ideas in case this is something that sounds like maybe you guys could do too. I don't know if it's going to be an inspirational podcast. Ooh, but this is 100% something that if you're not happy with where you're at, taking this leap of faith is very scary if you can't math it out. But it seems to, again, the maths, but it shouldn't. Like, in my head, what we are doing makes absolute zero sense. But on paper and looking at statistics and looking at ideas and just everything, it works. It's going to take a lot of work, but it works. So do you want to talk a little bit about what you kind of went through to figure out why we could leave and how?
So we were not making ends meet to begin with.
No.
From our 9 to 5.
No, our paychecks were very capped, and unfortunately we needed more than what that cap was.
Specifically, I had my student loan starting to come out, which is the price of our mortgage. And that is a ballpark of an extra $2,000 on top of what our paychecks covered.
Roughly, yeah.
That's the short, simple, sweet answer of how this sort of started.
On the side, you were busting butt to like get that $2,000 every month already.
I was driving Uber. I was working overtime. I was working extra this, that, the other, trying to start getting paid to fly, hopefully, all at the same time. And I was just every day of the week I was doing something, whether it was work or Uber or more work or flying, and it was a lot.
Yeah.
So I came up with numbers as to how much Uber paid me on average. Now this changes. This changes based on when we drive. This changes based on where we drive. This changes based on the day, on the weather, on, Uber is very like constantly changing.
Yeah.
On a day-to-day basis.
It's a bar graph. It's not a line graph. It's not linear. It's very sporadic, and there's some patterns. There are patterns. I will say there are good patterns that if you pay attention to them, you can figure out how to optimize every day of the week. But to find those patterns, you do have to look and understand your area, understand the weather, understand how people react to things. There's a lot of human psychology in it, which is weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, that's a good bit. Like, if you think about it, it's raining. I don't like to drive in the rain. Well, you're automatically going to get more people that don't want to drive. Like, that boosts your customer database.
Yeah.
Same thing with snow. If you live in an area that snows.
People who need to ride instead of walk somewhere,
Old people who can't drive and their grandkids hate them, so they don't want to take them.
Yeah.
Hate to break it to you, but you need a ride share.
So I was driving Uber, and I was doing it with a a Dodge Charger with a V8 Hemi engine.
Fun car. Bad
That
Uber car. Fun car.
fun car, very not economical.
No, not in the slightest.
A lot of people like the car, but not very economical.
Pretty, fun, enjoyable, comfortable, horrible for the environment, horrible for the wallet. Like spending as much as you make kind of car.
It cost me driving Uber about $5 an hour to operate that car.
Yeah.
Which made the 20-ish, 20 and some change, cash flow more like a $15 an hour cash flow. So I was like, there's got to be some other option that's better in terms of cost per mile / hour versus the revenue you make from Uber. So I started researching. I started researching a lot. And I went to Kysa and I said, based on the fun part was I originally ran numbers based on running the Charger, and we have another gas car, a Mazda 3, that is paid off and just would have been cost of gas and maintenance. I ran numbers off of that and was like, we theoretically could leave our jobs if we run like max hours in a month on Uber.
I will also say one keynote for the Charger is it has a loan. That is one, like the Mazda does not, the Charger does. So
it's
those numbers loan. No, but those numbers do play a part in the math that we did with the initial numbers where we're running these 2 gas power cars that we own.
And then, on top of that, you have oil change. Last month, the Charger did a whole lot of maintenance. a whole lot of maintenance.
The first month we got it had a whole lot of maintenance, and that was just dumb. We didn't pay for it, but it was dumb. We didn't pay for it because it had a warranty. That was still dumb.
So the maintenance last month I did to lower the cost because I can do stuff like that, especially with engines and all like that.
Yes.
So it had a lot of maintenance that cost a decent bit of money. I think it was like $500 to $1,000, and that was just a standard 120,000 mile every 60,000 mile maintenance period. It ran through spark plugs like nobody's business because it runs through them every 30,000 mile spark plugs.
Ate them for breakfast. And there's not like, isn't there like an abnormally not an abnormal, but like a higher than average amount in the Charger?
Yeah, so most cars have 1 spark plug per cylinder. The Charger, being a Hemi engine, has 2 spark plugs per cylinder. So instead of 8 spark plugs for 8 cylinders, it's 16 spark plugs for 8 cylinders. And a spark plug costs in the ballpark of about $10 to $15 per plug.
And for those who can't do that math in their head, it's stupid.
It's $160 to $200 or more
for spark plugs.
You can get a 16-pack specifically for these engines.
Someone thought outside the box.
$100 flat.
Someone thought about the really little guys. Someone thought about the big loud engine guys.
Yeah, and I had swapped them and did all that stuff. But at the same time, our water pump went out, so I had to buy a almost $300 water pump, swap that in, do the fluid change because of that. I had to do a transmission fluid and filter swap that cost about another $100 or $200.
Yep,
it was a lot. I still have maintenance I need to do to it, but that's besides the point. It was a lot.
It's become your work car. Like it has become like your project car in just the amount of this, then the other little tiny things that it needs. And we're gonna knock on wood that they stay tiny. Tiny.
It's maintenance at this point. It's not repair, it's maintenance, which is the good thing.
But the maintenance was coming up more frequently because of the amount that you were driving it for Uber.
Yeah, it needs an oil change. I still need to finish the 120,000 mile service and all of that. So I'm looking at all these numbers and I'm looking at all this and I'm like, we would make like $10 to $15 an hour. So based on $15 an hour, how many hours would it take for us to pay our bills if we were on our own?
All of
And
them.
that
All the hours.
that was about 8 hours a day every damn day of a month.
Yeah.
Each.
Yeah.
Each.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, you
one
can split
person,
it between
each.
the two of you. No, it was like you both have to run yourselves stupid every day, both of you. Not one, not split, both of you. Good luck.
Yeah.
Which honestly we were almost willing to do. We thought about it and we were almost willing to do it.
So one thing I looked at, and it's crazy to say this. One thing I looked at was, how about electric cars? What do electric cars take in maintenance? What do they take in extra costs, that's outside of charging, because charging is ridiculously low comparatively. And we'd obviously
anyway.
have to pay for loan and insurance. But what would it take to run electric cars? And I looked at it, and just in terms of charging, by the way,
yeah,
if we charge at home, we currently pay like 7 cents. That's pennies per kilowatt hour.
right.
Okay. These cars take about 60 to 70 to somewhere in there kilowatt hours for a full battery.
Right.
I think all in, I've divided it a few times, it's like 1 or 2 cents per mile.
Significantly better.
So on a $5 Uber ride, it cost me like 5 pennies.
For a $5 or a 5 mile for Uber ride, you mean?
For like a $5, which is about a 5 mile Uber ride.
Okay, yeah.
So I was looking at that, and I was looking at, could we afford most electric cars? I'm looking at Tesla Model 3s and stuff like that. Most electric cars go for about the $20,000 mark, give or take. And that means that it'll cost us about $400 a month or something like that. $400 a month for a loan. And then add, let's say, $300 for insurance per month, which is actually about what it breaks down to, realistically. More on that in a second.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so that's $700 a month to run a Tesla Model 3. Well, that ballpark, right? High ballpark, but ballpark. We run 2 of those. That's $1,400. Our current bills add up to like $7,500. We'll call it, bump it all up. All together, we need to make $10,000 a month.
Now, I want to pause you for 2 seconds. I want you guys to understand. This man walked up to me and tried to explain all the math to me, and what my brain heard was, do you want to buy Teslas, quit your job, and run Uber for the rest, like, all days?
Oh, that's what I said. I mean, that's what I said.
Do you want to buy Teslas and quit your job to make a living? Was essentially what I was asked. And I looked at this man in the most, are you batshit insane kind of way? Because at that moment, I thought he had taken some cocaine and was just trying to, like, figure his stuff out. But no, he was being dead serious, and I looked at him and I went, are you effing nuts? Because
yes. Anyways,
that does not make sense. In
No, it
any
doesn't.
way that you put it, do you want to buy Teslas and quit your job and be better off? Like,
It shouldn't make sense.
that math doesn't math. Like,
It doesn't.
Tesla's minus job does not typically equal better off. but
So
but
I was doing the math and I was saying it's going to cost us with new vehicles, with all this, with all that, $10,000 a month. That's saving for maintenance, because here's the big deal about electric cars. 99% of them, the only real maintenance they require is tire and brakes.
yeah.
And the better part about the brakes is with regenerative braking, which uses the motors to slow down and sort of slightly recharge the battery.
Right.
With regenerative braking, you are effectively using the brakes much less than gas cars. Because gas cars, the only way to stop is the brake.
Yeah.
You hit the brake. Electric cars, you can use the motors to slow down, charge the car at the same time, extend your range a very small, minute amount, but it slows the car down so that all you really use, if you drive the Tesla the right way, if you drive these cars the right way, all you have to use the brake for is to stop at a stoplight.
Now,
And on the Tesla, it does that for you.
I will say, our first intention going into this was for both of us to get a Tesla. And I am going to make the note here and now. I ended up not getting a Tesla because I kind of chickened out a little bit. We searched around for a while. First off, we just got a new puppy. We're having to leave her for a little bit longer than I was happy for, on days that we had off, to search for these Teslas. And to be honest, after searching online and going to this one horrible dealership, by the way, horrible, I was a little discouraged in trying to find a Tesla. So in our price range,
specifically in our price range,
that wasn't beaten to absolute crap and was reasonable and not driving a million miles to go pick it up. Like, there were some we're in the North Carolina area. There was some in the Northern Virginia area that would have hit all those check marks and more. But I was like, I am not willing to drive to Northern Virginia with a puppy that vomits in car rides because she is still kind of unstable in her footing. And not one of us can go because we need both of us, one to drive the car up and the other to drive both back. And again, vomiting puppy. There was like the mathematical equation for that just didn't make sense. So I ended up going with not a Tesla.
Yep.
I'm
so
sad.
You went with
I'm not going to lie. Having two Teslas would have been a lot in our driveway. And the charging would have been easier. But I am very happy with the car that I got, I will say.
Yeah. So you went with a Chevy Bolt.
Yes.
Used.
Yes.
All of these are used. We're not buying brand new cars, by the way. We cannot afford brand new cars.
No, we're not that stupid. I want to emphasize we are not that stupid. We're stupid, but we're not that stupid. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I ended up getting a 2018 Tesla Model 3, and she got a 2019 Chevy Bolt.
Yes.
We looked into all this. We did the tax rebate to take $4,000 off because it's a used electric car. You get $4,000 off, and that expires, I think, this month.
I think it expires at the end of this month.
At the right time, we did this.
And also the dealership that we got both cars from one dealership. They were amazing. They were absolutely phenomenal. And the one guy that we worked with was amazing. I will say they took the $4,000 rebate onto them, so we don't even have to worry about getting that to them. It just reduced the price for us, which was what made the Tesla possible and what made me feel more comfortable buying the Bolt than buying something else, because it made my car go down to like 10 grand, which was
effectively.
Yeah,
after
which
tax
was
settlement.
beautiful. Yeah.
So
Like
the
nice.
$4,000 rebate, was you could apply it to the purchase.
Yeah.
The first guy we talked to at the first dealership that absolutely sucked, he did not explain it properly at all.
Gotcha.
So I looked it up after the fact,
Not
after that
surprised.
first one or whatever. You could either
Uh-huh.
take the rebate at the time of purchase and apply it through the dealership if it's a certain kind of registered dealership and all.
Uh-huh.
The dealership could apply it for you, process it for you, and apply it as a discount onto the purchase price of the car.
Right.
Or you could have taken that $4,000 and applied it in your taxes for that year.
Right.
So, um, but we did the $4,000 rebate the moment of at time of purchase, and that brought it down quite a bit.
Right.
So I was running numbers and I was looking at it and I was like, all in, we need to make on a highball estimation, $10,000 a month. If we're gonna drive these electric cars with loans and insurance and a little bit of charging away from the house and all this other stuff accounted for, the fact that we now have to pay for our own health insurance and a whole lot of other stuff.
Right.
Um, well, okay, I'll make the note. We have to pay more for health insurance because it's not covered under an employer, and it is something that we actually have to think about, not one that just comes out of our paychecks when we make the elections.
Right.
But taking all that into account, I was like, $10,000. If we drive 20 days each, 20 days a month. Okay. I sold her on that one. 5 days a week, 4 weeks in a month. We'll work however long we need to on those. But if we drive 20 days in a month, we have to make $250 a day each driving Uber.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it happen. It can happen.
Oh yeah.
I've made half that in like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we can do it if we do it at the right times. But we
Yeah,
can do
and
it in
him
less
doing half of
time.
those was like during bad times too. So that's another thing that kind of sold me on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like when he was going out was not considered optimal times. So if we just sat down and did a little bit of pattern work, we could figure out optimal times, and maybe not immediately, but down the line as we get better at this whole thing, we should be able to do like the full 250 in a couple hours, maybe.
Hopefully a couple hours.
Hopefully.
Like I said, Uber's not straightforward. But we
Right.
can make the 250 in a day, hopefully in less time than it would take us hopefully in less than 50 hours a week
Like,
that we were already spending.
so goal, get more, make more money in less time per week. So we estimated that we spent about 50 hours per week driving to work, working, and driving home for 5 days. And that's not even counting times that we get called in for other BS reasons or whatever, or we stay late or whatever the case is. So if we want to have the flexibility of when we're doing those quote unquote 50 hours or however many hours it takes us to make the same amount of money, or we want to cut down those hours so we have more time to pursue our dreams and our goals.
Yeah. And our first goal is to pay off debt so that we don't have to make as much.
Truth.
And that way we could spend more time with the puppy.
Yes.
And spend more time at home, spend more time going and doing stuff. Once we pay off a lot of our debt, it's going to help. And hopefully at that point, I'm also flying more. I have a few opportunities with flying coming up, hopefully very quickly.
Yes.
And a few ideas swirling for our own businesses with a buddy of mine, um, that is aviation based.
Yes.
That has to do with flying and stuff like that. So hopefully I can pour more time into that as well.
Right.
Um, but it's just like taking all of that into account and taking into account what it would take for us to be able to afford to live doing just Uber on 2 electric cars that we just bought out of nowhere.
Note the
Crazy.
nervous
It's
laugh.
crazy.
Oh, it's absolutely insane. And when we
But
explain it to people, they look at us like we're effing crazy. So
and you know, the biggest thing is I'm very entrepreneurial mindset,
I think we both are.
sort of.
You're more willing to leap off the into the deep end or the shallow end. We're not sure which end it is yet, but you're
Oh,
more
it's
willing
deep.
to you're more
It's like
willing to
6 foot
leap.
deep.
You're
Yeah.
more willing to leap, but I have the entrepreneurial like mindset of this could work if we do this and mathing it out as well. I'm just not as willing to risk I don't want to
Yeah.
put you in a bad situation by a stupid idea of mine. And that's where I kind of
Yeah.
question my ideas. So that's kind of what I was
But
getting at.
like, you know, I'll tell people, "Oh yeah, no, the Uber driving, at least when I was driving the Charger, almost all of it is tax deductible. It's tax free, more or less." And they're like, "No, no, that can't be. That you're going to jail, and that's tax fraud, bro." Like jokingly, but
It's not.
they're not going to question it, or they're questioning it, and I'm like,
It
"No,
doesn't sound
it
real.
really is."
It
So
doesn't sound legit. Like it does sound like a fraud. I'm not going to lie. It does sound
so
like a fraud.
the IRS gives what's called standard deductions, and this applies to everybody, right? If you think about a standard deduction for your taxes, it's like $12,000 if you're single or something in that ballpark, and like double that if you're married. You know, standard deduction, it lowers your taxes. It says, okay, we're just going to give you this flat rate amount. Or you can go and you can itemize, break down each individual expense that is a tax write off,
Mm-hmm.
if that applies to you, and if you can go higher than the standard deduction. They do that with everything.
Mm-hmm.
One way they do it is they give a standard vehicle business use mileage rate. Okay. What that means, the IRS sits here and determines what is the average cost per mile to operate a commercial vehicle for commercial purposes. And they say it costs people 70 cents per mile. That's high. That is very high.
That's very high.
uh, I'm expecting to cost like, in charging alone, a penny a mile. In other expenses, maybe up to 10 cents a mile with electric vehicles. In the
Right.
Charger, it was about 15 to 20 cents a mile or something like that.
It makes
Okay.
sense.
I'd have to do the math on Charger specifically, but that's about what it is. And that's maintenance, that's um, gas, that's uh, everything like that. You could itemize it and try and figure out exactly how many miles you drove. You could figure out how many miles you drove by keeping a log, and
Yep.
you could keep track of all these other expenses: maintenance, parking, this, that, the other, and you can say, I spent so many cents a mile to operate this vehicle, which in most passenger cars, like what Uber drivers operate, is much less than 70 cents a mile, to be
Mm-hmm.
completely honest. Or you could take the IRS's free, hey, you could just say it costs 70 cents a mile and tell us how many miles you drove, and you should have a log to verify date. We have a log with date, time, mile, the odometer, mileage out, mileage in, how many miles that was, how much time it was, how much we made. We have all that calculated.
We have a detailed breakdown of all of that on a spreadsheet.
And then I sit here and go, okay, we made X amount in revenue. So all of our trips that paid us cost this much or paid us this much. We drove so many miles at the 70 cents a mile. As long as the tax deduction is higher than the revenue, then it's tax free. I will
Yeah.
say, for today's drive, mine was not.
Nor was
I
mine.
made more. Yours was. Yours was.
Well, okay, yeah, I did drive around the area like 3 times before getting one
Yeah.
ride, but I'm going to blame the having no rides before today factor. I don't know if that's actually a factor. I'm gonna blame it though. So
Yeah.
yep.
So we keep track of that, and we use the standard deduction, and 99% of the time up until now, it has been I drive more than what I drive more than what I make.
Yeah.
In the IRS's eyes. That's the key phrase here. In the eyes of the IRS, who allows us to use this 70 cents per mile deduction, standard deduction.
Yeah.
They say that's your standard. You could use that, or you could figure it out exactly, which it doesn't make sense to figure it out exactly. That's how much it costs you to operate. So then at that point, let's say you made $500, but with that standard rate deduction, it cost you, air quotes, cost you $505 to operate the vehicle for that amount of mileage.
Right.
Well, then you take your revenue minus your deduction, and you're saying, hey, I actually had a loss of $5. Yeah, the IRS cannot tax a loss. So in the IRS's eyes, using the IRS's method, you effectively spend more money to drive than you make.
Right.
According to the IRS. I don't care. It's going to make me more than I spend in reality.
Right.
But according to the IRS, it costs me more to drive than I make. So I don't have any profit to tax.
Right.
And that's how businesses do it. That's how the billionaires stay billionaires. Is they spend more money for business than they make in that year.
You ever wonder why billionaires will, at the end of the year, spend a bunch of money on charity?
Charity is the biggest write-off
Or
ever.
why they have their own charities?
Yeah. So
why a lot of millionaires or celebrities have their own charities. Like that is how that's one of the ways that they get around spending more than they need to. Well, granted, while still helping people, it helps. But at the same time, it also helps them in the long run.
They spend charity to make up what they couldn't use as business write-offs over the course of the year.
Right. They probably have a tax guy that goes, "Oh, you need to donate like $5,000," and then he goes off and he does.
Hey, you should totally buy this vehicle. You should totally buy this vehicle for tax purposes for your business. Put it in your business.
Mm-hmm.
Use it for your business.
It sounds so scammy. Like, real talk?
It
sounds super scammy. Like, I know it makes sense, but tell me that doesn't sound scammy.
No, I mean, it's not scammy. It's just using
I know
the
it's
system.
not. I know it's not, but tell me it doesn't sound scammy.
It's exactly what all these politicians and billionaires
bringing politicians into this
decades.
Does not make it not scammy.
It's what they've been saying for decades. It's using the system against itself.
Yeah.
I mean, you use the system and you play by the rules. The rules don't always make sense.
No.
But they make you more money.
Yeah. I don't know how. I don't understand it. I don't fully grasp it, but the important thing is my husband does.
So yeah, with the electric cars, effectively, we lowered our personal cost while keeping the tax deduction the same.
Mm-hmm.
And effectively, we make more money.
Yeah. It's all
That's
sorts
all
of
it is.
twisted who blah blah and whatnot. Um, I will
And
say,
it did, by the time we got the loans, real quick, by the time we
yeah,
got the loans and the insurance and all of that, with her buying the Bolts instead of another Tesla, it equaled out, instead of the $700 a car, I think it equaled out to about $700 total
yeah,
per month for both the vehicles. So that cut down, that cut a whole $1,000 off of what we need to make.
yeah. So like, obviously, if you're thinking about doing this, you really need to sit down and look at your finances and have like a really good understanding of what the hell you're about to get yourself into.
Yeah.
Like, did I know what we were about to 100% get into? No, not really, because I never did drive Uber. Like, I did Uber Eats for a long time when we were during that hour cut that we talked about at the beginning, but I never drove Uber ride. Jesus. The cats are having
Why are
World
you
War
hitting
Three
me
out
there?
there. No,
Oh,
that's the
that
cats
was
out
that.
there.
Oh my gosh.
The cats are having World War Three outside our offices. Do ignore them. I know you will hear it because I've heard it over mics several times already. But you just got to get used to that. But no, God, I derailed. But no, like, if you're going to get into this, do spreadsheets, do the math, do the research. Don't just go, oh, these guys said they could do it. Why not? Why not jump headfirst? No,
Yeah.
do the freaking math and make sure you're going to be okay. I do not want this podcast to be like, oh, these guys did it and they had no problems. We don't know if we're going to have problems. We're 3 days into this. We will
Disclaimer,
maybe.
nothing is proven yet, and it's all on an individual financial basis.
Yes. And I haven't
We are
told
not
Mike this yet.
experts.
I haven't told Mike this yet, but I do plan on documenting this somehow because I'm very curious on this if this is going to work. Plus, that could be another stream of income. So, double exploit. I don't know how I'm going to document it. Probably TikTok. That is probably my ideas, but we're going to see.
Do it.
I think I will, and I might have you do some too because you.
Do you know how many Uber, how much I
Yes.
make on Uber YouTube shorts I've watched trying to prep for this and figure out
Yes.
exactly what we can and can't make?
And I was watching those too, and I went,
So much.
I can do this. not the.
Yeah.
I didn't say that about the Uber driving, although I can. I said that about the vlogging of Ubers, and I'm like, I can do that. I can do this better.
Yeah.
I can do this 100 times more entertaining than these guys can. And
You
that
can do
is
it with your phone.
that is the dangerous mindset to be in if you want to be an entrepreneur. That is the exact mindset that puts you into these kind of situations where you quit your job, buy Teslas, and pray. But no,
We took a very calculated risk, and
Yes.
we're going to see if it pays off or not.
And
Because
it will
on
pay
the other
off.
hand, with me having opportunities coming up, that is another stream of revenue that I hope to bring in.
yes,
Personally, that is a little bit more. I'm gonna say it's a little bit more
calculated.
straightforward.
Yeah.
It's more straightforward of an income than
Once it gets going.
your side businesses are right this moment, just because
Well.
you haven't. No, you have to build
know.
those up.
I do.
It's not
And-
like, oh, I go fly for a day and get paid X amount of money. It's
And to add on
once
top of
once
that,
it starts. But
to add on top of that, we also do have those side businesses that we are building up that could bring us, granted, sporadic, but decent income. Like,
Yeah.
we do reselling on the side, which is something I want to talk about one day on this podcast. I want to talk about how we had a content creation podcast with Spawn when he was a co-host, and I would love to do it with Mike as well, because Mike is one of the main streamers that streams with me and does content creation with me. So both of
little
those
bit.
are he does more than he says he does. But both of those are things that can bring in streams of income. On top of that, we're doing this podcast. If this ever takes off, right now it's a really fun, entertaining hobby for us, and we are enjoying every moment of it. But it could transparently become a stream of income for us. I have that TikTok I might be starting about side hustles, and it's not just going to be about Uber, although that might be the main, bread and butter of that channel. I don't know yet. But that could also be a stream of income. So it's not like we're just leaning all in on Uber. We have several different things that we are going to be doing, with Uber being the base of where we can make a majority of our money if everything else brings in nothing.
Uber is where we pay the bills. The rest is where we build it up to pay the bills at some point.
Yes, like now that we have a more flexible schedule, I have the time to build my resale business. I have the time to possibly even start my flipping business. I have the time to build these channels. I have the time to do my daily content channel and my TikToks and my YouTubes and everything like that. We have time.
My YouTubes.
My TikToks and my YouTubes and my Twitches and all the things. But yeah, like we have all the things. We have this opportunity before us, and it's gonna be uncomfortable. But in all honesty, I took a guy today that was talking about how he started his own businesses and everything like that. And he told me it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's how you handle that period of being uncomfortable that's going to shape the rest of it. And if you handle it well, you should come out on top. Like, this guy was so inspirational. I loved talking to him. It was the longest ride I had today, and I loved every single moment of it. He was an absolute pleasure to talk to, and I loved it. And that's one thing I'm really looking forward to with Uber, is talking to really cool people, because everyone just has... Everyone just opens up to me.
Potheads. You'll get a lot of those.
They're going to be interesting people. They're going to be interesting people. I dealt with those in my old job. I don't really care.
Your car's going to smell like nothing but weed at times.
That's what air fresheners are for. Anyway.
Roll the windows down after. It's
fine. But I have a weird, we'll call it a superpower, where everyone just opens up with their life story to me. So I am bound to get some very interesting people and conversations out of that. Hopefully that'll make some good TikToks.
I think I was the most resistant at first. Other
About
people
what?
open like a fucking Chef Boyardee can for you.
Yeah,
I was the most resistant. Effectively,
you were one
I opened
of them.
up, but it took a little extra.
I'm gonna mark the day that somebody cries in the back of my car from talking to me, because when I was a trainer, I made every single person that trained with me cry, and it wasn't because I was mean to them. It's because they started telling me their life bullshit. Like, I'm waiting for the day. I will mark the day on my calendar that somebody just opens up to me so much that they sob in the back of my Uber.
Oh my gosh.
Goals.
You should have been a therapist.
I really should have. And it's not too late for me to career change, so don't threaten me with a good time. But I really don't want to sit in a closed room with some weird people like that, or deep dive. I would rather sit in a closed car for a decided amount of time making money off of them. So
just be a counselor.
That's what Uber drivers are, aren't they? I was watching a TikTok about that. See, TikToks are good. I was watching a TikTok about how people use their Uber drivers as therapists, and I'm like, goody.
Goody, my best gift is gonna come to light again.
Yeah, Mike tells me before we start all this BS that, like, oh, no one talks in the Ubers. They just get in. It's a silent 10 to 25 minute drive, and then they get out. And I'm like, the two guys that I had today. No, the two guys that I had today were the most like, the second guy that got in was really like, I got the hint that he wanted to talk, because he was like, it's such a nice day out. And I'm like, okay, he wants to talk. He's trying to open that can of worms, because it started with very awkward, like, how are you? I hope you're doing well today. Are we going to the right place? Thanks for getting in my car. Let's go. You buckled in? Let's go. And then, like, after 10 seconds of silence, he's like, it's a really nice day out today. I'm like, this guy wants to talk. The first guy just started yapping.
To be fair, I said most.
No.
Most people are silent.
Okay, I'm 100% not silent right now. No, I am 100% the opposite so far. I'm 2 for 2, where like if it was most people that just get in and shut up, one of those two should have been get in and shut up. And the first guy I got was, again, super sweet, loved talking to him, but he was a chatterbox. Like, he talked the entire ride.
I also said in my experience, not in yours, but in my experience.
And you have the opposite superpower of making people so awkward that they want to shut their mouth. I don't have that superpower.
I'm really good at it.
You're really good at deterring people from talking.
Bitch face. No. I don't sit there with a resting bitch face while driving. I just sit there.
I've been told I have a resting bitch face, but apparently people still want to open up to me even when I don't like smile at them or talk to them.
Yeah, I talked about how a sheets was dug up and just torn down in like the last 2 weeks. By the way, there was a sheets that was there a few weeks ago when I drove through the area and is no longer there. It is now a pit to hell with a bunch of construction equipment.
My brain is really trying to connect how we got to that point.
That's what I talked about today.
Oh, that's cool.
That in politics with one older person, and I was just like, okay.
I'm not looking forward to the political talks.
You.
I got the religious, like, God is good, God is great, God saved me from blah blah blah. I got that talk today, which wasn't bad. I don't mind that stuff. I know your family, and your family is very religious, so I was kind of used to those talks, and we're also in the South, so whatever. The second guy was the one that I was like vibing with. He was the creative guy who started his own business and does art to like make a living. And I love talking to him. It was cool. That all being said, I know at the beginning of this podcast, I did mention we wanted to talk about some work stories. I think I overestimated how long we were going to talk about how we quit our jobs. I honestly thought that was going to be a 10 to 20 minute little, we quit our jobs. And that was going to be it. And we would have nothing to talk about for the rest of the podcast. But we're over an hour in and we're still yapping. So I think we're going to have to make a part 2 with crazy job experiences, which is cool because that means that we have the topic for next week. And we don't have to think about that.
It's not a part 2. It's just we're going to talk about crazy job experiences next week, and hopefully within this next week we get some more crazy job experiences with some psycho Uber rides or something like that, you know. And
I plan on making TikToks about those too, so if you want some crazy, like, I'll have to make the channel first, but once I do, I'll plug it here. I'm going to be talking about the crazy rides that we both get. I'm going to make Mike recall his as well. Recount? That's not it. Recall.
Yeah. Recall.
Because I think they can be entertaining, and I also think that like we could have fun since there's 2 of us acting out the situation in an Uber setting. I think it would be more entertaining than somebody just sitting there. Oh my God, I just had the worst passenger in the world. I got a TikTok where somebody actually sounded like that, and I scrolled so fast.
Oh my God, I had the worst passenger.
Like chewing gum, like, oh my God. And I'm like, shut up. Get off my screen so fast.
Oh my gosh.
I'm getting into a mood. Anyway, I think that's it, unless you have anything else to add to the we quit our job.
We quitted
our jobs.
We quitted our jobs, peoples.
We quitted our jobs. We did it. We're free.
We're free from the corporation. We're bound to ourselves and Uber.
Power to the man. Anyway, or power from the man. Power to the no. Bring it to the no. What's the term I'm looking for? Stick it to the man.
Stick it to the man.
Stick it to the man, not power to the man. F the man.
That one out.
That's exactly going in circles. I'm so tired. By the way, owning a puppy is the equivalent of having a child that you eventually put in the bed with you, and she attacks you all night and has sharp teeth.
You got up this morning.
I did, and that was fine.
Not
because I was
like always.
Okay, to be fair, I was trying to get out of bed so we can go Uber.
Yeah.
So
I know.
I was kind of awake by that point anyway, and I was like, I'm just gonna get up and try to force myself into this habit because I am a night person. So waking up at 5 a.m. is no bueno for me.
She was put in her crate last night, not in the bed.
Because
So
she attacked
I
us.
didn't get the puppy alarm clock at 5 a.m. when my alarm went off and I started wrestling a little bit.
Which
Or
is
4 a.m. when she
unfortunate.
has to pee.
Which is unfortunate because we needed to get up at that time. Anyway, we're digressing a lot. My point is, puppies are tiring. Uber is interesting. We've thrown caution to the wind, and just stay around because I'm sure we're going to be talking about this when we have more numbers. I would like to retouch on this subject when we have a little bit more grounds to work off of.
Yeah. I'm going to be trying to work a lot like these first few months, just extra days and all, just to make as much as possible. But that's a my choice.
Yeah. And I'm going to try to do it here and there, but I also want to put priority on my content creation because I have the goal of making that have some income for us as well.
Right.
That way we don't have to work as much if we don't want to or have to or whatever. Like I want to have more streams of income than just Uber so we don't rely on like people not wanting to drive their car to work that day.
Or not being able to.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
But regardless, stay tuned with us if you are interested in hearing how all that works out. It's a journey that we are taking together. We both quit on the same day. And we're taking this journey together with the same household and everything like that, which is scary because normally when one of you takes that leap, the other person has some sort of stability, which maybe we will eventually with Mike's flying. But for right now, it's it's all in the air. No pun intended.
Literally. That's going to be a few months. But
hopefully.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much for sitting down with us and listening. We will see you in the next podcast when we talk about just crazy past job experiences. And dear Lord, do we have some stories. I'm going to tell you right now, we have some stories from both our recently...
We can go on and on and on.
That might be a couple-parter, but just from our last job, we have many stories. And we also have individual stories of... when we worked at other jobs. So thank you guys for sitting down with us, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.